Okay, so I want to talk about this. It was kind of like a few of the things I've been talking about lately, but it just kind of, I don't know, played out a little bit. So I wanted to talk about it. Anyways, so one of my daughters and her boyfriend was over, and they were talking about a bunch of stuff. We were just talking about a bunch of stuff, about uh, kind of seeing stuff like as a soul, I guess you'd say. Like we're talking about spiritual stuff, and her boyfriend has had certain gifts ever since he was little. Like he could see things and hear things that other people couldn't. So I had that in common with him and stuff, and he didn't find it fearful either. So, anyways, we were just sitting there talking about that stuff. And then when he left, and my daughter was like, well, I don't get how you say there's going to be something more. Like, we already totally get it. We understand everything that's going on. And, we know that everybody's lying and all that stuff. And so I just don't get what you're talking about. Like, what you're saying. Something's going to happen that's going to make everybody realize something. And I said, um, well, okay, Joe's not really president. And she was like, okay, what? I can't even listen to this craziness. I mean, seriously, where do you come up with this bullshit? This is absolute stupidity. I mean, why would you even say something so stupid? And I was like, okay, well, you haven't seen it yet, so you don't know. And, the whole thing with the stuff that went on with the thing where we mark who we want on the things, and then all of the crime that's going on with that right now. And I didn't say it all choppy like that, Oh my God, same response. Oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? Seriously, what? Tell me where you get this crazy stuff. Where do you even come up with this? This is crazy, like really ridiculous. Oh my God. And I was you start trying to tell them, like, there's a lot of stuff to tell over what's been going on. If you've been sleeping through it, like, there's a lot. You can't just, it's not a quick synopsis for this whole thing. And so then, when she's carrying on about that, and I'm just like, okay, if you want me to tell you, you're going to have to be quiet and listen. You're going to have to listen. And that was very challenging. Like, that was like maybe tops 15 seconds where that was possible. And then it was like, losing their mind, like, sparks are flying, screws are flying out. And so I was like, yeah. And T-Rump, that was, when I started watching that stuff and seeing, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? Remember, this is somebody who sees himself as very woke. They completely know what's going on. Completely know what's going on. This is, So then I'm like, okay, so, I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just trying to say I saw the lies. I watched everything about him. I watched it every time he was talking. And I said, oh, okay, so when did you watch him? How often did you watch him? Oh my God, I couldn't even stand to watch him because he drives me so crazy. So I don't know, not all the time. I said, well, he spoke every single day. I watched him every single day. So when did you? Oh my God, I can't even stand him. How could I watch him? I can't even believe you. Oh my God, why are you going to try and tell me that he's okay? He's a good... I'm not telling you any of that. I'm just telling you, when they were talking, they were chopping it up into little edited bits of what he was saying, and they were manipulated and lying through the whole thing. And I had the chance to see that because I would go in and listen, and then I would see what they were saying. So I saw how they were lying, how they were manipulating us, how they're I couldn't get that in. I'm telling y'all. But yeah, I couldn't get, no, you couldn't even get past the, once the T-rump word comes up, it's like, fuck that. And you, fuck. What was left of their sanity is like flown out in sparks. And I was like, okay, well, I was just like, okay, I told you. I can't get you to see it before you're ready to see it. You're going to see it when you're ready to see it. Every soul has a way that they're going to see it. Every soul has a way of waking up. And I don't know. I don't understand this whole thing of, how they're not seeing it. And it has got to be, because I think about this, because I told you, like, how many are surrounded, absolutely surrounded. I'm not shitting you when I say I'm the lone wolf. I'm sitting here like, some deer caught in the headlights, surrounded by jackal, or what are those things called? Jackals or something, They are, yeah, I'm completely the crazy one. And they all know everything. And so I was like, I can't force you to see something before you're ready to see it. And so that's the whole thing, is like every single soul that is here right now. There's not a soul that is on this planet right now that is not here for this harvest, for this transition, for this, cosmic changeover in the ages. This is here for souls to experience, because it's an ascension. It's like a big hop. It's like a graduation, and it's like riding the wave. Like, if you think about it, like, if all I think I've talked about this before, because there's certain places at certain times of the year, like Australia or Hawaii or different ones, and they'll have this certain climate or something that comes in that causes these certain waves that all the surfers will rush there, and they'll have competitions and stuff. But I've just heard about this over time. I being in Southern California, but I was never, a surfer or hung out with surfers. But that, but you can't get away from it if you live down there. But anyway, so they all go to this certain place because it's these challenging waves, and they all want to go and experience it. And maybe some of them, it's the only time in their whole life. And I guess it's very challenging when they go to do it. It's not like they all run to go do, a couple of little waves. It's some big thing, Maybe it's like the change of seasons. The waves are 20 foot or something. So they all go. Yeah, it's crazy. But that is what a soul does. That is what we are all doing right now. Like, we all think, like, this is horrible. This is so hard. This is so, everything. And not even realizing that it is your soul purpose. It is what you came here for. Your soul came to experience this and wants to experience it however you're experiencing it. There is no wrong way to experience what's happening. And but I have definitely noticed that there is a lot of people who are waking up. I've talked about this before, who are waking up to these different parts, that are working on their own soul stuff, and they're working on their own healing, and trying to really get in touch with their mind, body, spirit, and self. A lot of people going through a lot of different things that hasn't even gotten to the big thing yet. That's what and so I had said before, it seems like a little bit like that they are getting themselves prepared for what's to come, because there's no way that a consciousness can continue in this like this trajectory that we're on of awakening. A soul can't continue on that without it happening. It's impossible. So they all have to awaken to all aspects of reality. And there's just so much, because it's all been manipulated for so long. And you have to be able to get back and down and see, the agenda started. Once they started lying to us about aliens, I mean, that right there. Once they started lying to us about our true history and how we're even on this planet, and about our DNA, and about all of the stuff, all of the lies that have been told to us since the beginning of time, and that's why I really like that guy that Mateus Stefano or something like that. But that initiation show on Gaia, when he talks so much about the beginning of a soul and what our whole purpose and birth and the planetary system and how this is all just one big system, and all the stuff that he talks about is all the stuff that in my understanding, because I've talked about it before, that I too was having, and I don't know if it's like the veil was thinner. I'm not sure how it happens that there are so many of us that, we're being told things that were important stuff as a small child. And because no matter what, no matter how many adults told me I was crazy or that was wrong information, my inner knowing knew. My inner knowing knew it was right. So I never went off. I just stopped talking about it because, if you're just going to sit there and just keep throwing the ball at the wall, after a while, it just gets boring. Nobody's throwing it back, So, yeah, after a while, you just, like, there was so much at a time when I was younger, and it continued, but just to look at people and just be like, I just don't understand. Like, how are we the same? It sounds horrible. It really sounds horrible. And I don't mean it in the way that it sounds, because it sounds horrible. But sometimes it would just be like, and I'm sure we've all had the experience. Like, you look at some people and you're like, how are we the same? How can you be this like shut down? How can you be this like ignorant? How can you just give up so easy? All of the different stuff. And, the only thing that makes sense to me is that we've all been in those different places. We all, as consciousness, have had to escape certain things that held us back, and we were unaware of things, And so the souls that are here that have deeper understanding or knowledge or knowing or more connection or whatever, all the things that you want to call it, that it is to help these other souls at this time, during this transition, to help them with their awareness of self. And it's the only thing that makes any sense to me, why there would be so many people who just have no understanding of things whatsoever, to not even like, even if people were saying your whole life, they did to me, and I still knew when they're telling me like there's no such thing as aliens, there's no such thing as Bigfoot, there's no such thing as this or that, it's like, and oh yeah, there's ghosts, but we need to be scared because they're out to get us. People die and they turn crazy, and then they want to just kill everybody. It's like, see, some things, it's just like, it leaves me speechless. Like, I don't even, some of the things just are so asinine. Just like, to me, to think like, there's a red guy up there with horns fighting with this, other guy that is, he's so perfect, but he doesn't give a shit about anybody. He only gives a shit about himself, but he's different than the other guy. It's all coming from within, It is your creation. It's your manifestation of what you need to worship. And, all I can say is you need to give up on the illusion, give up on the little pretend thing. You get focused on self. It's all a distraction. It's all pretend. Because you're not going to find any answers outside of there. You're not going to find any truth outside of you. And I don't know how there's so many people who can be so easily persuaded to go, do they just have no inner knowing? I don't know. I just don't know how this all works. It's crazy because we're going to watch how this plays out. Like, I've been saying this for months, to see like when this programming, whatever's going to happen, when the lights go on or the programming stops or the truth comes out, whatever's going to happen. And I think as, any of us who are awake and aware and even understand anything about energy, we really need to keep in prayer and meditation and keep drawing this energy into the planet that helps the people to transmute their anger instead of having to go out and express it in violent ways, because that's a huge disappointment, especially when I'm thinking like, oh, once all this truth starts coming out, I already know it. I'm going to go out and start traveling. Everybody will be in their house, sniveling away, crying. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, woe's me. But I already went through that. So why should I have to play it out again with them? So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go out and travel, go and do some road trips, which, my eyes have been telling me I shouldn't be doing road trips to try and see. I don't even know how to explain how it is, before I got LASIK and I wore glasses, and whenever, if you wear glasses and you take them off, and I don't know what my vision was, but when you take them off and everything is just, like there's no form, everything just kind of blend into each other, that's what my vision was like. So I really need to not be driving. I know that for sure. And I wish I could hire a driver. I thought before, when they told me I'm not supposed to drive, that I kept thinking, okay, well, when they start having automatic cars, then they can drive themselves, then I'll be able to go around then. But, now everything is changing so much. The technology is going to be so different. Like, I don't even know. And it's coming so fast. And this last part has been so much of lockdown. But anyways, yeah, now if it's going to be that everybody's just going to go get mad and going to make it dangerous, that we just have to all stay hidden still in our houses because the freaking freakouts with the danger, crazy people, with the anger problems and shit. And it's just like, oh, fuck. What is this, another 6 fucking months in the house? Oh, God. I mean, it's not just like in the house nonstop, but still, even if you go, which I don't even know where anybody makes, how anyone can make sense of in a serious illness that is so easily caught between people that you can't even walk by people, that they can carry it and not even know that they have it, but it's yet deadly to others that can get these dormant germs somehow jump off and get on them and stuff. And all of this nonsense, bullshit, science, why would you let anyone cook your food? I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing. Even in the very beginning, when everybody's like ordering takeout, like nobody knew how to cook. Their whole world was been outside of their own home. But on social media, hasn't been real. And then everybody's in, scared to death. They're going to be killed by these crazy germs that, but they're ordering food and having people bringing it, but they're being safe because they just set it out on the porch. Then you don't have to have contact. It's like somebody just cooked your food. Somebody just wrapped your food. Somebody just put your food in a thing, in a box. So, I don't know. It's the same people whose logic is, science is real. It's like, okay, please explain then. Please explain to me how this science works. Because it's its own breed of science, as far as I'm concerned. And anyways, I feel like that I always start talking about a couple of different things and then I forget what I'm saying. But anyways, I just feel like that, everybody who needs to okay, so I was talking about the ridiculousness of the science that is all completely made up. And, that there's people who believe it. Oh, this was another thing, too. I just want to get this in here before because I'm going to go. But this other thing. Maybe I'll just do another one real quick and I'll talk about it. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so I will be right back.